She came before the lights, before the chatter, the coffee, the swipe of badges. While the city slept, she held a key to something no one bothered to see. They laughed past her. They trampled the floor she'd polished an hour before. But something had already begun. Quietly. Under their shoes. The door smacked her shoulder before she saw the man's face. He didn't look back. Just a flurry of tailored wool, earbuds, the snap of a phone call. The glass trembled as it shut. She steadied the bucket, fingers trembling only from the chill of the mop handle. The water sloshed low, soapy, already gray. She blinked once at the glass and wiped the smear his coat left behind. The city outside was blue and still asleep. Her name tag caught a flash of light as she leaned into the motion. Slow circles, practiced pressure. Property maintenance, J. Lewis. No one ever said the name. Upstairs, the light on the CEO floor flickered to life. The air smelled of ammonia and something sharper. Burnt coffee, maybe. The restroom was silent when she pushed open the door, but someone had been there. A red scrawl across the mirror. "You're all replaceable." She stared at it. The S curved downward like it was tired halfway through. She pulled a cloth from her back pocket, sprayed once, twice. The ink bled slowly. Her reflection watched her. Lips drawn. Hair tight in a bun, silver catching at the edges. A woman once built strong, now built quiet. She said it softly, almost not at all. "Let's clean this too." The metal stall doors creaked behind her as she moved. Her steps echoed. By the time the first assistant manager arrived, hurrying past with a powdered face and half-buttoned coat, the mirror shone again. Downstairs, the dining area was waking up. She passed the rows of chairs, catching the bitter sting of reheat eggs. She moved in silence, shoes whispering across linoleum. Behind the counter, the younger man from night shift was pretending to rearrange trays. She saw it, the motion, fast and secret, leftover toast into his back pocket. His shoulders stiffened when she stopped nearby. She didn't look at him, just set a sealed container on the ledge, a sticky note on top, extra. He didn't speak, but later, as she pushed the mop down the hall, she found a thank you scratched on a napkin tucked into her cart. Mid-morning brought noise. Phones, heels, laughter that pinged against the marble. On her knees near the elevator, she reached for a broken mug. Shards of white porcelain, jagged, with a gold-lettered "Best Boss Ever" across one half. She held the handle for a second too long. Then a voice from above. "Why bother with that?" A man in navy with perfect hair. He didn't stop walking. She glanced up, then down. Her thumb traced the curve of the words. "Things break," she said. "People too. Doesn't mean they can't be fixed." In the lobby, a boy waited with his mother. Black suit, firm heels, busy fingers on her phone. The child watched as the woman bent to water a potted plant by the window. Careful hands. She never poured too fast. "Is that your flower?" he asked. She looked up. The boy blinked. His shirt had dinosaurs on it. She smiled, barely, but it reached her eyes. "When you take care of something every day, a little piece of it's yours." He nodded seriously. Then came the laughter, loud and sudden. From Conference 3B, someone had found a video. A janitor slipping. Someone had added music, slow motion effects. A group gathered, cackling. She walked past. Didn't stop, but one hand tightened around the mop so hard her knuckles went white. No one saw her pause in the corner of the room after. Her breath, shallow, the silence folding around her. "Hey, clean up," called someone, a voice with a smirk. "We got more cost-cutting to do." She turned, the same man from the hallway. throwing crumbs on the floor from a sandwich. His badge swung with his laugh. She walked past him, bent, picked them up one by one. He stopped laughing. Later that afternoon, the security desk buzzed. The old man working there, Hector, had one hand on his chest and the other gripping the desk's edge. She rushed to him without thinking. Water. 911. A jacket under his head. You're off shift, he murmured. She brushed a hand against his. Clock doesn't matter. He looked at her. Weak smile. You're a good one. She didn't answer. By dusk, the lobby was emptying. She passed the coffee machine and spotted the young intern again, the one who dropped his phone earlier. He was swearing under his breath, jabbing the buttons. Nothing worked. She stepped forward, pressed 2 keys in quiet sequence. The machine hummed. Hot steam rose. He blinked. Oh. She didn't wait for thanks. Just turned, her back a small curve against the fading light. A voice stopped her before she reached the door. Hey. She turned, a woman in a navy blazer. Mid-30s, sharp posture, softer eyes. She held her tablet loose in one hand. Without you, she said, this place would fall apart. She said it like it wasn't meant to be heard. Just the truth, slipping out. Behind her, others talked and scrolled, walked by without pause. But the woman's words hung in the air. For the first time that day, Junie Lewis smiled. Not the polite curve of lips she used for the job, but something warmer, slower, like light on tile. The kind of smile that says, you noticed. And maybe finally, something had started to shift. The invitation came folded into a white envelope, slid under her cart like a mistake. She almost threw it out with the rest. Flyers, notices, the usual print that never asked for her name. But this one had her name. Typed clean. Ms. J. Lewis, meeting. Shareholders briefing. She read it twice, standing between the supply closet and the humming of the ice machine. Upstairs, they were already gathering. Ties straightened, perfume sharp. She stepped out of the elevator by accident, or so they thought. Miss, this isn't... A young woman at the door reached out with a clipboard, then paused, blinked. Oh, that wasn't for... I think that invite wasn't meant for... Junie nodded once. Mistakes happen, she said, folding the paper. Sometimes useful ones. She didn't push to enter, just turned. The carpet muted her steps, but every eye lingered just a little too long, as if trying to remember where they'd seen her before. That night, the city buzzed outside the cracked bus window. The lights blurred like smeared oil paint, yellow and white and endless. A pair of teenagers at the back were laughing loud. At her, maybe. One nudged the other and whispered something about her shoes. She didn't flinch. She reached into her bag and pulled out a leather folder, worn soft. Gold letters pressed into the corner. JL Property Holdings. She didn't open it, just held it, resting it on her lap like something sacred. Her fingers moved across the edge, slow, remembering. The smell of sawdust came back first, then sweat, tobacco, rain on steel. Her father's voice, deep, measured, always with a hammer in one hand. He had built the first floors of that building, fallen on the 7th. The scaffolding broke. They said the insurance didn't process, said it was unclear who was responsible. She had been 21. The bus rocked gently. She closed the folder, eyes dry. At work, the young intern nodded at her now. every time, with purpose. She didn't smile back, but she noticed. The others noticed too. Friendly with the staff now? One of the older men said, sipping from his overpriced thermos. The boy shrugged. Better than being friendly with you. Junie was down the hall by then, but the corner of her mouth tugged once. She passed the printer room. Lights flickered overhead. The machine was jammed again. Low growl, blinking red. An IT tech stood nearby, more interested in his phone than the issue. She opened the side panel, pulled a crumpled page from the rollers. A twist here, a button there. The green light returned. The man looked up just as the machine started whirring. Fixed it, he said, already typing again. Junie didn't respond, just wiped toner dust from her palms and whispered, "Let's clean this too." She said it softly. Third time this month. It meant something else now. By lunch, she was called into HR. The paper on the desk was thick, polite font. Voluntary separation agreement. The woman across from her had a sympathetic smile rehearsed like muscle memory. Junie read each line, then set it down. Her hands didn't tremble. "You can't fire an owner," she said. Her voice didn't rise, just landed in the room like a dropped wrench. The HR woman blinked. "I'm sorry?" Junie stood. "I said what I said," and left. From the window in the break room, Sarah watched it happen. The conversation on the sidewalk, Junie and a woman in a navy suit, tight curls, confident shoulders. They weren't arguing. They were talking. Junie gestured toward the building. The other woman nodded, took notes. Sarah narrowed her eyes. Was she imagining it? She pushed the thought aside. But that night, she Googled J. Lewis Holdings and didn't sleep much. The next morning, Junie unlocked the old broom closet at the back of the basement. Not many people used it anymore. Inside, dust lay over the old floor plans, water-stained boxes, and a small wooden frame. A photograph. Her father. His arm slung over a beam before the walls had ever gone up. Beside it, a certificate. Documents. Stamped. Sealed. Dated. Her name in the corner. June Lewis, managing partner. She stared at herself in the mirror nailed above the sink. Older now, lines deeper. She said it again. One last time. "Let's clean this too." The meeting room smelled like leather and tension. She walked in with a pressed jacket and old shoes. People turned. A woman near the back blinked. "Can we help you?" Junie looked around. The chairs, the suits, the walls she used to scrub on weekends when no one was around. She stepped forward, hands folded in front of her. "I'm your owner." The silence was immediate. A man near the end of the table stood abruptly, knocked over a glass of water. No one laughed. No one moved. She didn't repeat it, just stood, the hum of the lights loud above them. Someone opened the door, walked out. The rest stayed, watching, wondering what came next. Junie didn't flinch, didn't blink. She waited. The next morning, the conference room was colder, fewer voices. No CEO at the head of the table. Just leather chairs turning slow in the breeze of the vent. Someone cleared their throat. "We should speak with Mrs. Lewis," one of the board members said, older than most, his hand resting gently on his cane. No one disagreed. Outside the room, the building buzzed with talk. Word moved fast in quiet places. "Is it true? I heard she owns the place. She was here every day. How did no one know?" In the copy room, someone muttered, "She probably forged something." Another replied, "You know who used to say stuff like that? The guy who tripped on the wet floor. Remember that?" But the intern just said, "Doesn't matter. She still cleaned that room better than anyone." No one argued. Upstairs, the old CEO returned for his things. His suit looked too tight. Or maybe it was just the moment. He found her in the hallway, replacing a dead bulb above the stairwell. He stopped, arms crossed. "All this time?" he said. She screwed the bulb in, stepped down the ladder. "I was exactly where I needed to be." He didn't respond, just turned, left. They offered her an office, big one, top floor, desk that cost more than her car, a secretary too if she wanted. She shook her head once. "I'll stay closer to the floor," she said. The HR woman blinked again, but said nothing. Just updated the directory. A new code of conduct was posted in the lobby. Same frame, different rules. Clearer language, respect, transparency, equity. Someone scoffed. Another rolled their eyes. But that morning, when Junie walked through the lobby, the other custodians nodded at her. One even said, "Good morning, Ms. Lewis." The words caught in the air like fresh paint. The intern caught her at the coffee machine again. The same one as before. This time, he was there first, already fiddling with the panel. "It's jammed again," he said. "I think it hates me." She crouched, pressed her fingers to the underside, listening. He watched. "Want me to get someone?" She smiled, shook her head. "Just takes a little patience." The machine hissed, then gurgled. Steam rose. He laughed. So did she. In the lobby, Hector, back on his feet, called her over to the security desk. He looked stronger now, but slower. "Got something for you," he said. From under the desk, he pulled a folded coat. Dark wool, big shoulders, a little worn at the collar. "Your father used to leave it here when he worked nights," he said. "I kept it, thought maybe you'd want it now." She took it with both hands, held it like something living. "Thank you," she whispered. He reached over, touched her elbow. "He'd be proud, Junie." She hugged him. No words. Weeks passed. The air in the building felt different, cleaner, maybe. People said hello more, some didn't. That was fine. Sarah, now carrying herself with a straighter spine, sat across from a nervous older woman in worn shoes and hopeful eyes. "No office experience," the woman said, already apologizing. Sarah shook her head. "Can you listen?" "Yes." "Can you notice things others don't?" The woman nodded. "Good," Sarah said. "Start Monday." Someone raised an eyebrow later. "She's older, isn't she?" Sarah replied, "Sometimes you just have to look harder." The morning light came through the lobby the same way it always had. Angled, soft, slicing across the tile like old memories. Junie stood in her uniform, sleeves rolled neat, polishing the glass near the front. A new hire brushed past her, trying to balance a phone call and a coffee. Didn't recognize her. Didn't say a word. She reached for the door, held it open for him. He nodded absently. Walked on. Her reflection blinked back at her in the glass. Same name tag. Same woman. The light caught the edges of her face. Soft. Still. Steady. Outside, the city moved past like always. Fast, loud, indifferent. She didn't move. Maybe she'd always been visible. Maybe no one had ever looked.